It is actually the conference on pharmaceutical ingredients.
The most known trend is on GLP-1.
The consumers are women, and then you develop products for them by men. That's not logical.
So metabolic health,
Metabolic health, yeah.
squarely a big trend this year. Hello and welcome to the Source podcast. I'm very happy to be here with Joris Dewit, a close personal friend and also an industry expert in the nutraceutical industry, also an investor with Accretia Ventures, and all around, I would say, passionate about supplements just like we are. Thank you for coming, Joris.
Thanks a lot, Sara. Very happy to be here in the most beautiful office at CPHI, I would say, here at beautiful Frankfurt. And I'm quite impressed to be here and happy to have a chat with you on the latest trends.
Indeed. So we are here at CPHI in Frankfurt. For those who don't know this, CPHI is actually the biggest pharmaceutical trade show, I would say certainly in Europe, but probably around the world. And I've done some digging. I actually didn't know this, what CPHI stood for. It is actually the Conference on Pharmaceutical Ingredients. That's the actual long name. And it started more than 30 years ago here in Frankfurt. So this is really the home base of, let's say, the pharmaceutical know-how. So we're very happy to come back to our roots. It's, of course, also our home office. So, great to be here. And so we've been now one day at CPHI. Lots of trends, lots of new things to talk about. What have you seen? What has sparked your curiosity and your interest?
Yeah, it has actually been a very interesting first day because I've been coming here for 13 years and I've seen it evolve from really like a pure play pharma conference to now it crosses over to nutrition. And you see even the big pharmaceutical groups, they have now big nutritional, let's say, sections that they're working on. So I do think it's interesting to see that crossover happening. So you see it from all sides, but now the let's say the most known trend is on GLP-1, where you go really to have the crossover of the Ozempics and Mounjaro to like the nutritional products that can increase your GLP-1 naturally. So that's actually the talk of the town currently in the nutritional space, but also in the pharmaceutical space, because you see that crossover from injections now that also Eli Lilly and the other pharmaceutical companies are working on oral solutions. And this is actually coming in great for the nutraceutical industry, because we can then both focus on increasing our GLP-1 naturally without the pharmaceutical, but also working on companion products. And there, when I was walking around, you could see that, a lot of even the pharma companies are focusing on getting that support for these GLP-1 treatments.
So metabolic health?
Metabolic health, yeah.
Squarely a big trend this year.
Yeah, metabolic health, but metabolic health is very broad. I always smile because each time, every year, they invent a new common name for all kinds of supplements. So metabolic health, it's about heart health, but it's also about weight management. It's about good sleep. It's about energy, fatigue. So there, it's a whole umbrella, I would say, on that portfolio.
Let's pick up on what you said: sleep, energy, relaxation, mental health. Magnesium.
Magnesium, very, very big theme. And currently there is one key new ingredient that's on the market. So Mactine from IADP, they got a novel food approval for magnesium threonate. And that's under their brand Mactine. And magnesium threonate is actually magnesium for the brain. It's the only magnesium that actually crosses the blood-brain barrier so that it can really help you focus and help you with all the processes that happen in your brain. If you listen to the podcasts of like Andrew Huberman, he takes magnesium threonate every day.
Every day.
Until now, it's very expensive, so I would say magnesium glycinate is still my go-to magnesium. But the threonate will certainly be a good addition for every supplement company that wants to do an innovation in magnesium.
And do you think that will be in combination with the other magnesium forms?
Yes. So actually, magnesium threonate works the best in combination with other sources because it allows you to. It's actually a carrier of the other magnesiums into your brain, so that it really can increase your long-term memory, but also your reaction speed. So if you combine it with, for example, a good bioavailable form of magnesium like lysinate, then it will really help you to increase that bioavailability not only in the bloodstream but in your blood-brain barrier, so that it can cross is really much better because it's actually a carrier of that magnesium into your brain. Yeah.
Okay.
That's why I'm so on today.
No, clearly. We all take our own supplements, don't we?
Yeah.
What about hydration? That's also kind of connected with magnesium, and we're talking about general health, right? Active health. What about hydration? Did you spot anything interesting there?
Yeah, also still a key topic, and we're seeing now moving from just standard hydration products with electrolytes to friends with benefits, hydration with benefits. Mm-hmm. So we've seen a lot of, let's say, nootropic combinations, mushroom combinations with hydration products. It's not only about just putting some kitchen salt into a sachet.
No, absolutely.
Yeah, so really having that extra benefit together with your electrolytes, for example, to hydrate your brain is very important. So if you then combine it with adaptogens, it could really give you a very nice product to launch in the market, because it gives you that extra benefit, that extra positive thing for really getting your brand into the marketplace. Yeah.
Okay. What about women's health?
Yeah, women's health. Women's health is very broad. So we see a lot of action in the premenopause, perimenopause, and menopause field, but also fertility is very very important together with hormonal health. So a lot of plant extracts that we can see, where they can still benefit on these pending EFSA claims that still remain pending for 20 years, I would assume.
Yeah.
So there is a lot of action in this underserved consumer base, because let's say developing supplements specifically catering to the needs of women, that has been really a long time an underserved segment.
Absolutely, but do you think there's a shift? It's a very meaningful shift that will last. Now that there's focus on it, and the science, the clinicals will be designed specifically for women's health, or you think it's a passing fad?
Well, I do think it's something to stay. We're not there yet, but you see a lot more female founders for startups. You see a lot more female executives in also big B2B companies like yourself, obviously. But you're not the only one, luckily.
Of course.
So, and I think it's actually a good thing, because let's say our male brain works only one-dimensional a lot of times, while the female brain works in 3D. So I do think that we do need these extra perspectives from yourself, but also from other women in our business. And it was always a surprise to me that, because for me, food supplements, health is a very female-driven business, because who buys supplements?
Of course, who's the consumer? Of course.
The consumer are women.
Yeah.
And then you develop products for them by men. That's not logical. So I see now brands like Ritual, that was the first one actually, that with Catherine Schneider, that developed a complete range for women. And I think it can only improve, because it's absolutely necessary to cater to the needs of women, and to develop specific products that can really help improve the health of women.
In a targeted fashion.
Yeah, in a targeted fashion. And also design your clinical trials, like you were saying, specifically for a female population. It doesn't make sense to do a trial on energy and fatigue on like a general population. If you can really target, make it more personal, I think those will be the B2B companies that will win, and also the brands that will win in the future.
I agree. Do you think the pharma industry is going in that direction as well?
No. No, I see a lot of, there is still, and I don't understand why, but still these clinical trials, there's not so much investment actually in female health kind of topics. I think it's a bit strange, because we can see from the supplement data that more and more companies and startups that I'm seeing, they are more and more successful. Because let's say the female population, they can identify themselves much more with brands led by female founders. For example, I invested in Good Woman, with Morgane as the founder, and she really created this community, because they feel that they get this extra customer service from people who know what the issues are, because they are experiencing it firsthand. And there, I really believe that this will grow further, and people will continue to invest more into women's health.
I'm glad you touched about one of the companies that you invested in. So tell us a bit more about that portion of your professional life. How do you pick a company? What makes you excited about a company to say, you know what, I'm gonna back this one up?
Yeah, it's always very difficult, because I get a lot of dossiers, a lot of deal flow that comes to me, and then you have to have a look at. First of all, I look at, is this company solving an issue which is on trend, which is in demand, I would say. So if that answer is yes, then I look further, and then I look at the founding team. Do they have complementary capabilities? What did they do before? Is it a serial founder or not? Because if it's a serial founder that has been successful,
sure,
there's a big chance. There's a track record, exactly. And then usually I invest alongside, let's say, incubators or VC firms, because I know that they have done their due diligence. And if they give their stamp of approval, I am much more sure that, let's say, my limited investment will be worth it. But still, it's always a gamble. But that's what I like. If I believe in the person, and sometimes I even did not do the due diligence because I had to take a quick decision, yes or no.
Yeah.
And then you see, okay, I believe in that person. And then, until now, since 5 years, no bankruptcy yet.
Good.
So fingers crossed.
Fingers
I'm gonna
crossed.
touch wood, look for wood somewhere.
Fingers crossed.
So yeah.
Because I was gonna ask you, did you have a moment where you made the wrong choice? There is no wrong choice in the end, because with the gift of hindsight, of course, everybody can make the right choice. But if you look back, you can see maybe that time I bet on the wrong horse in a way.
Yeah. So for me, what I'm not doing anymore is I'm not investing anymore into topics where I cannot add value. I always try to be able to, as an investor, to offer smart money, not only to offer money and then say goodbye, but I always try to add value, to provide my network, and whenever they need me, they call me. But if they don't need me, then I am pretty much hands off. I let them do. But I at one time invested, and it's actually a good investment, but for me it's not very rewarding because I don't know so much about the topic. It was in a hardware ice bath company, and Monk, and she's doing a great job. It's a company which is growing very fast because ice bath with the longevity trend
Absolutely, yes.
are extremely on trend.
Yes.
But there, I cannot add value because I'm not sure about hardware, how to do it, and it's a specific supply chain, a lot of different issues than the supplement and functional food space. So I would say not a mistake, but still something where I don't feel comfortable.
Okay.
And I actually feel shy that I invested because I cannot offer enough help.
I see. So you prefer to stay in your lane, so to speak.
Yes.
Really scary on the supplements.
Like I get a lot of dossiers on AI, and I don't get it. I don't understand. So if I don't understand, then
I have to say me neither, but maybe a generational issue.
I just turned 40 2 years ago, so maybe that's the issue.
I think it might be. And instead, what's in pipeline there? I mean, of course, you can't give too much away, right? Because these are investments, these are startups. But what's in pipeline that makes you really excited, connecting with what we were discussing about the trends in both pharma and nutraceuticals, and you think, this one is going to go the distance?
Yeah, so there are lots of categories that I'm quite excited about, but one of them is the prebiotic soda category, like Olipop.
All right.
And there, what I always try to do is I watch what the trends are in the US, try to develop a product for Europe, look for a founding team, and then go. And then usually we try to launch it in UK or in Germany, a big market, to check, do we get market validation? Is it the same kind of feedback that we get from the US as we get in Europe? And then, then we try to go big. So this prebiotic soda is one of the things that I'm very passionate about. Another one is how is the brand called again? This multivitamin AG1 gummy alternative, where we're looking into with a good gummy manufacturer. I don't know if you know one, but looking into that field also, because they're let's say AG1 is also very big in Europe. We know that the dosage form has its disadvantages because the taste of the product is not great. So how do you increase that consumer experience? Can we do it with a nice tasting gummy? Can we do it with a vegan gummy and still get enough of the vitamins and minerals inside
the benefits, of course. Yes.
So now finally, with all the developments with the high load gummies, I think technically it should be more feasible now to get a good product on the market even for Europe. So that's also one thing that excites me a lot. So I hope we can find a company very soon.
A good partner.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You briefly touched upon watching the space in the US to try to kind of replicate that, but European style.
Yeah.
Do you think that applies to the pharmaceutical industry as well? Because it's very common in Nutra, right? We always say it's a bit of an adage, but what happens in US 5 to 10 years later will hit Europe.
Yes.
Is it the same thing for pharma?
I do think so. I think also that FDA is a bit more relaxed than EMA in let's say giving market authorizations. So you will also see that, for example, this oral GLP-1 probably will be launched first in the US because number one, market is bigger. Obesity crisis is much bigger in the US, but it's also because of regulations. I think European regulators are more strict, so it takes more time, usually half a year to 1 year to get, let's say, a medicine on the market. And that's usually the issue with Europe. We regulate too much. And
isn't that a barrier to innovation?
It's a big barrier to innovation, indeed, because also we don't, it's also that, but we don't have this risk-taking mentality, so we always want to stay safe and to regulate first and then to innovate. But sometimes you don't have to think about the regulations and you just have to do and to see where you get, because that's innovation. You just have to reiterate on making mistakes and reiterate until you get it right. But if you then have a regulation which is limiting you, that will not allow you to do the iterations that you want to do. And
I think the founder of Showpad, who's a common acquaintance, I think, Luis, he said something, he posted on LinkedIn a couple of weeks back specifically on this subject. He was very passionate about the fact that indeed it was talking about startups in Europe, but I think it applies broadly to most industries, particularly consumer-driven industries like ours. Very passionate about the fact that indeed, because we tend to over-regulate and be overly conservative, better safe than sorry is typically the motto of our industry in Europe. Then implicitly we're also creating huge barriers to innovating and to also be simply competitive on a global stage. Right? Because the other industries or the other geographies, let me say, in the same industry are not going to wait around.
Of course.
So do you think there's a solution to this, a quick solution to this? It's been a debate for a long time.
Yeah, it's a difficult one. I think for me, I'm maybe that's not a popular opinion, but I'm really for more Europe, more unifications, more common rules, more common market, more common rules to really to keep innovative companies here, not to having them to go to the US because that the market is there bigger. Like for example, another Belgian success story is Loop earplugs. But their market is mainly in the US because their regulations was much easier to launch a hardware product, but also the market is so much bigger. So if you launch there and you have your meta ads prepared, it's such a bigger market than Europe. If you here have Germany, it's 40-50 million people. US, it's immediately more than 200 million. So there is really also the size issue, I would say.
And yet, do you think Europe is still worth investing in?
For sure, because when everybody is looking into one direction, you need to look into the other. So I am really bullish about Europe. It always makes me smile when I see the LinkedIn messages that another one talking about the negative points about Europe, and then I say, okay, you guys continue to invest in the US or in APAC, but we are still the biggest consumer market in the world.
Absolutely.
So that's not a market you can ignore. So I think we really have to together as an industry really focus on Europe and make Europe great again.
Well, that sounds like a nice slogan. Are you planning to run for office anywhere anytime soon?
Yeah, no, that's not my ambition. I try to stay in the shadow, not only now with the podcast,
Yes.
getting a bit more
In the spotlight.
yes, more in the spotlight. So no, but I try to move discreetly, because if you talk too much about what you're doing, then it will also attract people on the same topic. And
What would you recommend to somebody who's just starting out in this industry?
yeah.
What would your advice be to a young 20-something who's passionate
Solve a
about
problem that you're experiencing yourself, be passionate about it, and then go 100% for it. I would say if because I was raised as an employee, so I did not have the, let's say I have great parents, but I did not have the opportunity to be raised by entrepreneurs. So then you don't get that as a career path. So then you go to university, you go find a job with a blue chip company, and then that's it.
That's your career, right?
That's your
Yeah.
career. But what I would advise an 18-year-old is that learn about AI, learn to use AI continuously.
Even if you don't understand it.
But they will. Their brain is
point.
still flexible, and they can do it. And then try to launch a product that you're passionate about, that actually solves a problem which you are facing. Because that's the most genuine testimonial that you can have for your product, that it solved your issue. Because I have, for example, I'm supporting a brand with a vegan protein. It was a 19-year-old, Vetain is called the company. He had skin issues when he was taking whey protein. And he couldn't find a good tasting vegan protein, so he developed himself. Mm-hmm. And now it's all about gut health, his company, and they're solving many issues with people that experience the same problem. So and I love this. He bought 500 bags of protein, started to do his own stickers on the label, and start selling online. Yeah, that's great. I love it. Yeah.
That's very inspiring.
Yeah.
So thank you very much for this
Pleasure.
wonderful chat. I'll tell you my key takeaways.
Mm-hmm.
So of course, pharma and nutraceuticals coming together in one big family.
Yep.
Big trends: metabolic health, GLP-1, women's health, hydration, magnesium. A new form of magnesium
Yes.
coming up is super exciting, and women think in 3D.
Yeah.
Yes,
That's
that's what
true.
I come away with. So thank you very much for
Thanks a lot.
for being with us. I wish you a great continuation of the show.
Likewise. Yeah.
And thanks to our listeners and viewers, and coming up with a new episode soon.